Thanks for coming to check out the behind the scenes for Dean Weaver and Autonomous Society. If you saw Nick's interview, I said that Nick was the first, which was actually a straight up lie. Dean was the first. I was super nervous about asking him, but he was gracious enough to say yes. Anyway, I'm going to head down there. I'm going to have a couple beers, probably just one, but it's going to look like a couple because I'm going to have a tasting. Anyway, I'm not sure what I think about this hat, but I got dirty hair. What are you going to do? Mwah. Okay. So I have Dean Weaver here with me. We're going to talk about beer and life and dreams and making it all happen. And Dean is the owner of Autonomous Society, which is a fantastic new brew pub in the Cedars. And Dean, you're pretty fancy pants, being that you're only one of 30 Cicerones in all of Dallas, which is like a beer sommelier. Why did you decide you needed to get this certification?
Short answer is just a little street cred. Yeah. I've been a certified BJCP judge for quite some time, but
a what judge?
BJCP. It's a beer judge certification program.
Oh.
So it's a lot of the style guidelines for styles is written by the Home Brewers Association, and that's who sponsors the BJCP. And the Brewers Association is basically an offshoot of the Home Brewers Association. So they all just started from one deal.
Well, you've been doing your home brew for years and years and years. At what point did you get the Cicerone status?
Cicerone, I just received the end of the last year or the beginning of this year. Yeah. I just took my taste test and practical test in December, I believe, is what it was.
What's the taste test consist of?
Well, they give you some beers and they want you to taste the off flavors and tell us what kind of beer this is, and just simple stuff.
What's your most popular beer that you brew? I was going through your whole list. You have quite a few.
I think it depends on the time of year, but the Saison, which I've just packaged, this will be my first professional beer that's on tap. It has a lot of followers. Then I have a double IPA and an Imperial Red, which are both really popular with folks. I'm trying to branch into some smaller styles, like a Munich Helles is really good. It's a great beer because a lot of new people to the craft beer will really enjoy it. And go ahead.
Is Munich Helles a type, or is that what you call it?
No, that is a style. It's basically it originated in Munich, Germany. And it's light. Helles is light for German, or German for light. So it's it's a nice malty, good grain sweetness beer that dries out fairly well. Little bit of hops to balance out the sweetness of the malt. But it's just an extremely approachable beer by a craft beer drinker or a regular beer drinker, somebody who's not accustomed to craft beer. So it's a really nice beer.
Interesting. And now you told me about your Vienna lager is the one that won in the Blue Bonnet Brew Off.
It won second best of show. Yes.
That's awesome.
It was quite nice.
Yeah. Well, the other one I wanted to ask you about, which probably dates both you and I, is a hazy shade of citrus.
Yes. That was my take on the whole hazy wave. Everybody's doing the hazy IPAs, and
See, I went back to the Bengals. I was like hazy shade of winter Bengals. Like I didn't even do the hazy wave.
Yeah, well, no, it really is a tie-in to the Bangles, and actually, to go even further than that, it's that's Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh,
So that
you got me beat, dude.
the Bangles doing that song was a remake of the song written by Paul Simon.
Yeah, I was thinking that was a song written by Prince, but that was Manic Monday, wasn't it?
That was Manic Monday.
Okay. Okay. Back to beer we go. So I know you said you were sitting on this business plan for Autonomous Society for six years.
Little over 6 years
What
from
made you
business plan to the realization of what it is now. A little over 6 years.
what made you decide, you know what? I want to get into this crazy bar business. I want to give up my nights. I want to give up my weekends.
Well, I was in the film industry for 32, 33 years. And,
Mm.
I wanted to be in the film industry since I was 10 years old. I pursued it. I did it for a long time. I've done everything that I wanted to do in it. I didn't want to advance any further. I love the people. I was getting tired and bored, and I needed something else to do. I'm not a retirement guy, and I've been a home brewer for such a long time. It's like, well, why don't I just take this and make it a career? Um, you know, it's
What did your
Go ahead.
What did your 10-year-old self say? Your 10-year-old had the dream of being in the business, and when you're like, "Hey, listen, we're going to do something different." Was that hard? Was it a hard jump?
Um, in some respects, yes. In most respects, no. I was getting tired. I was getting tired in the film industry. And if I'd stayed in that, I would have just become resentful and bitter, and it was time for a change. Um, it's, you're in a comfort zone when you're in a certain track. And, I took myself out of that comfort zone. So, that was the hard part. And I discussed it with my wife, and she got behind me. And so we're on this crazy ride, and, we still have hills to climb, but that's what makes it challenging, and that's what makes it fun.
And what was your role? Explain your role for somebody who doesn't understand what a gaffer is.
A gaffer, depending on who you're talking to, is basically a lighting director. Um, I worked in some TV shows and movies, but not as a gaffer, just as a basic electrician. But as I moved up the line, um, I I stayed in the commercial industry, and that's what I was, basically a gaffer for TV commercials, both national, regional, local, whatever. Anybody that was gonna, anybody that gave me a call and said, "Hey, are you available?"
Yeah. Did your how did things change from COVID? Obviously, everything was shut down for a long time, but
Yes. Yeah, I went from having a couple of multiple day jobs on the books to having absolutely nothing and sitting at home quite a bit, and which just caused me to focus more on this beer business.
you're like, hold out, let's get out this business plan here and dust it off. And
Well, it wasn't sitting. I was actively working on it, but now it just became a total focal point. Either that or sit around and have early happy hours, and that's not going to be the healthiest thing in the world.
no, no. So from the time you said, okay, Nancy, I'm going to do this, how long before you opened
How long
the
before I
doors?
open? How long before I open the doors?
How long? Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Once I started putting the plan on paper, that was really where it started. Said, Nancy, I'm going to do this. Basically, when COVID came around, I shifted things to really get it open. I wanted to be open at the end of COVID because I knew people were going to be restless, being locked up in their house all the time, doing Zoom happy hours. so on and so forth. They want to get out and get human contact. So I said, okay, how can we get this done like now? And so reworked the business plans, started chasing down my equity partners and talking to the banks about getting loans and making it happen.
How long from when you started that loan process to when they said, here's the money, Dean? Congratulations.
That's probably just under 2 years.
You spent 2 years with the bank?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I don't think that people understand how long it takes to get funding, truly. Or that.
I think that, I mean, it's been a lesson of hard knocks for me, but I think that is like one of the hardest parts is raising money for a business is extremely, extremely difficult. You know, talking to your friends and family and just saying, hey, I've got this great idea. Would you give me some money and I'll try not to lose it? You know, and then going to the bank. And as a freelancer, you know, we've done mortgages and refinanced our house and a few times, and we've got to jump through a lot of hoops. You can take that and just multiply that by easily 10. It was extremely difficult to get a business loan, an SBA loan. Just all the things. There's so many things, so many boxes that they want checked, and so many ways they want themselves covered.
I remember when I was working with my banker and I was buying my agency from my dad. And I was like, is it going to be like getting a mortgage? And he was like, oh, no, it's easier. I was like, what are you talking about? This is terrible. It was such a process.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Must be easier for them, but not for us. I mean, golly.
No. Well, then I know you said once you got the money, you had another hiccup, right? And that was with our beloved city. Now, I love Dallas. I do. I love Dallas. But was that a COVID thing or do you think it was just bureaucracy?
From what I understand, it was a pre-COVID thing and COVID just magnified it.
Because we're talking about the permits, right?
Yeah. Getting the permit was extremely difficult. A lot of people dragged their feet. They wouldn't, you know, if there was a problem, they wouldn't tell you what the problem was. It's just like they'd push it back to you and say, this is incomplete. And, you know, I don't know how to fix it other than, you know, get rid of all the people that are there and hire new people, or I don't know. It was, I really didn't, I thought the business was going to be closed before it even opened.
Wow.
It was really close, really, really close.
So now that you are open and you're finally able to brew, right? Because that was the other problem. You couldn't start brewing until you got in the space.
That's correct.
So what'd you do with all your homebrew beer? The homebrew beer can't come up to the bar, right?
Well, it came up to the bar when we were in construction, and all my buddies that came and helped me, I basically bought them lunch and they got free beer. And so we burned through all the homebrew that I had.
Oh, wow.
So it's only because it took longer than expected. So, yeah.
So which one is your first that's going to be sold at Autonomous?
That will be the Dienitude Sassy Belmalou, which is a Belgian Saison.
What a great name. Say it again.
Dienitude Sassy Belmalou.
Okay. And so for anybody who hasn't been there, you'll see when you go, he has everything up on TVs and it's ranked in order of light to dark or strength. How would
you know, right now that's how it is. It's kind of light to dark, and within those color shifts, it goes, you know, stronger as you get down the line. But once we start rotating kegs and things like that, as much as I'll try to keep it in a relative order, it just won't happen that way. because
Gotcha.
there's going to be one keg that kicks, and I need to put something else on. And well, it's like, okay, I've got this English brown. Let's put it over here, and that's in the light area. So
Oh, see, I didn't even think about the organization of the kegs and how it relates to the numbers.
right.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So where will the sassy pants? Is it sassy pants? Is it really?
It's
The
it's
Dina
it's
Tube?
it's a sassy Belmaloo.
Sassy Bumaloo. I just added pants. I think you should consider adding pants. The Sassy Bumaloo, where will it go?
Uh, Sassy Belmaloo will actually go on one of the later taps.
Okay.
That's a higher carbonated beer, and those um, my last 5 taps have different carbonation levels. The final 2 are nitro taps, and then the 3 before that, so 20, 21, and 22 are all 3.2 volumes of carbonation. So it's a little higher carbonation level than your usual beer, which is usually 2.5 or 2.6.
And how long does it take from when you start brewing the Sassy to when Sassy's ready to go?
This was kind of a rush job, and it's about 2 weeks.
Okay. Is that
So yeah,
normal?
yes, some of them can, and some of them. That's kind of why I chose the saison. Saison yeast really consumes those sugars pretty quick. It
Mm.
acts pretty fast, and that's why I did this one. Just so I could get something on the board. But yeah, you get into lagers, and they take a little bit longer, and so it just depends. It just depends on your style.
What percentage of the beers will be yours and I guess other beers?
I will not. If I'm going at full capacity, I won't take more than 60% of the taps.
Who
So,
will that?
and that's roughly 15 of the 24 taps.
Okay. Will you? Are you going to go local? Are you going to go regional? Are you just whatever your flavor takes you? Or
My mantra right now is, and actually has been for quite some time, is local and independent. Now, the local spectrum goes a little further. It includes Texas, but I will try to stay in the Metroplex as much as possible.
how?
I I have one beer that's from Cisco, Texas, right now, and it's a really good lager. So, but they're in Texas, and they're independent, so I consider them to fit into my parameters.
Who's probably is it? Who's the closest to you from where you guys are now? I'm trying to
Uh,
like map it out. Deep
are
Ellum?
you are you thinking independent or non-independent?
I was thinking more independent.
Independent, probably the closest is either going to be Manhattan Project or Petacolas.
Petacolas.
Yes.
Is Deep Ellum not independent?
No. No.
Really?
They a majority stake was acquired by a company called Canarchy, and that's a company that had like Oscar Blues and some other crafty type beers. And then that company just got consumed by Monster Beverages.
Oh
So
wow.
Monster Beverages bought into that and got into the beer business with that purchase.
Is that Monster like the energy drink Monster?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Okay. What is the local independent or not beer community think about you? Were they open to having new neighbors, new competition?
Well, they seem to be. I mean, I haven't gotten any elbows coming out. You know, like, hey, no, they've all been pretty good. Especially when I tell them my mantra. You know, it's like our premise is local and independent. We really want to promote craft beer and independent craft beer. And I'm very much into the local scene, and I want to support the local craft scene.
See, I just think that's cool. A, that you want to support the scene, but it's like there's room for other beer artists, and it just makes it all better. I always thought Texas. I always take it for granted how nice people in Texas generally are as compared to other parts of the United States. Like I leave and I go somewhere and I'm like trying to say hello to people as I walk down the street and they look at me like I'm crazy and I'm like, oh right, that's a Texas thing. Hi y'all,
Right.
So how much beer do you think you'll make this year?
Let's see. Right now we're starting September. I'll probably get I may get about 10 barrels out before the end of the year, maybe more, hopefully more.
What do you want to do next year?
I'd like to get to 100 barrels.
100 barrels.
Yes.
That's a good big round number.
Well, if I get the process down and the workflow down, it can happen. So it just gives me something to aspire to and really get my system working. So
I think, goals are important. I heard somebody say once, and they were like, some people are like, no, I don't want to set a goal because what if I don't make it? Right? I don't want to be disappointed that I didn't make it. And their answer was, well, how do you celebrate the wins if you don't set the goal? It's
absolutely.
You got to have something to go for and be like, I did it. I made it.
Yes. You gotta,
which is super fun.
you gotta have something to light that fire. It's like, hey, get off your butt and get going.
Yeah.
You're not gonna achieve that goal sitting around thinking about it. You got to get after it.
What's your big plan for getting people in your door? Word of mouth? Are you going to go social?
It's a combination of social and word of mouth. Social is, we're getting a lot of good press. We're getting a lot of good reactions on social media. Word of mouth is going to be a little bit more of a thing. It's harder to do because it's very organic. So it's just, if people come in, they have a good time, they're treated nice and respectfully, and people are knowledgeable about the beer that they're drinking, then it happens automatically. There's not much we can do once it's instilled into that consumer that's come in, that visitor, that the person that's coming in to check out the place.
Lost you for a second, but I think I got you back.
Okay. I wonder if it's me. Is it me or is it you? Or is it both?
I don't know. I haven't had any drag all day, and then now maybe it's me. Do you think you're going to get, are you friends with the Lee Harveys and the other places nearby? Because that helps too if you can get a little foot traffic from the nearby bars.
The neighborhood is great. Lee Harvey's, Baby Back Shack, Full City Rooster. They're all very, very sharing. It's like I was by the Baby Back Shack and Clarence goes, hey, have you got any advertisements that you'd like to put on my counter to get some more people in? I was like, Clarence, let me work on that. I'll bring something by. But they're very supportive. It's fantastic. Did I lose you again?
See, here's the thing though. It's going to be, the cool thing is you haven't uploaded yet. So because you are talking, like once we decide to stop, I'll hit stop and then we'll have to keep talking for a second because there's a little upload button up there. And so once we stop, you'll start uploading. So the upside is I'll just be like my sound will be frozen, but I'm not talking. So that part is good. So it should be fine. Mainly I was just
okay.
like, oh, I missed what he was saying. No.
Good. So basically it's recorded on my phone. And then when we hit the upload, then that whole thing goes up.
Then the whole thing goes up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool, there's so much fun technology out there for this. It was when I was like, Oh, I'm going to start a podcast. This was like 5 months ago, but I just had to kind of research and baby step. And I'm pretty excited. I'm talking to the Dallas's first poet laureate, and he's super excited to come on the podcast. I have I'm kind of artist heavy at the moment, but I've got Nick Nikosha, who's a visual artist. I am working with the Austin Street Shelter to try and get them out and promote them. So, but anyway, I'm pretty excited. Yeah,
Oh,
you're
that's
actually,
cool.
it says you're 99% uploaded. Actually, it's uploading a little bit as it goes. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, so that cloud with the 99% next to it is the upload status.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Cool.
you're uploaded. It's mine has not started uploading yet.
Gotcha.
So what we're seeing here is not the same quality as what it is once it uploads and processes.
Gotcha.
But in theory, like I'll probably throw this whole thing and I'll share it all with you as well. I'll put the whole thing on YouTube in one giant clip, and then I'll make all these shorty little clips to put out on like social media, like just little like 15-second blurbs or something, because people don't want to watch super long stuff, but they can
Right.
always go and watch the full length interview on YouTube,
Gotcha.
which ultimately is supposed to drive traffic to one website or the other to increase business.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like probably the biggest blend of insurance and art that I've ever been able to do, which I'm excited about.
Very cool.
Usually the art takes away from the insurance. This time it's going to help, is the plan, supposedly.
Well, good.
So, yeah. So, is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up? You need to tell people where you are and how to find you for sure.
Well, we're down in the Cedars, 1928 South Eckerd, just around the corner from Lee Harvey's, down the street from Baby Bag Shack. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Wednesday, 6 to 10, Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., and then Sunday, noon to 9. And so, there we
And
are.
you're almost always there, right?
I'm always here.
See, that was the fun part. And this is what I would encourage everybody to do is go in and get a flight and ask Dean a question. And then he can tell you why you like Pilsners, for example, is just what he explained to me, which I thought was super fun because Dean is so knowledgeable and he's so good at explaining and he obviously enjoys it. Like it made it really fun that to be able to put in words why something tastes good. Like, it tastes good, but to be able to say it and then to share it with other people. And then you have a common experience and you have something to talk about. And it's not just about going out to have a couple beers. You're having this beer bonding moment with someone about why it's so cool.
Why does it taste so good?
Why does it taste so good?
What is it that I like so much about it? So, and everybody's got different tastes, and so it's like, okay, well, what is it that you're liking? What let's see if we can pull that out of you. And that just helps you define what you like, and then it makes it easier on the next time you go have a beer. You can, oh yeah, I really like this because, and it just expands your knowledge. It's awesome.
Well, I wish you all the best success. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here with me today.
That's awesome. Thank you.
All right. You stayed through the end. Here we are going into Autonomous Society to have our beers. There's Dean working hard behind the bar. They put all the beers up on the board so you can see what's available. There is my beloved Sassy. I always like to start with the Sassy. It's cool. They write on a chalkboard on your sampler so you can keep track of what beers you had. I had the Sassy, English Biscuit, the Peticolas Red, but I liked Dean's Red better. Thanks so much for checking us out. I hope you will come back again soon. Good night, Dallas.